Alright, so this is gonna be a bit unusual because I usually do like games I've beat this year video at the end of the year because usually I'm beating like 25 games a year. But January has been a pretty weird month. I haven't done much videos, for one, and that gave me some time to play more games. There is something there. I don't want to stop making video. I love making YouTube videos, but they do take away a lot of time, a lot of gaming time, because I work during the day, take care of the kids, take care of the house, and then I play some games, or I'm doing some videos, but more often than not I cannot do both, it seems. Anyway, I wanted to talk about the games I've beaten in January 2025, and by beaten I mean I've made it to the credit scene, so I've beat the whole story. It doesn't always include DLC or harder difficulties or post-game content. I'm talking about the base game. So, it's already been a minute since I'm rambling. Let's get into it. So, the first game I've beaten this year is Shing. I got it for $1.90 something on PSN. I've played it on PS5. It was on 95% deal during the holidays. This is a beat 'em up. I've played it with my daughter, even my wife played it a bit with us, so sometimes we're like 3 players, you can play up to 4 players. And this is a beat 'em up, but there is some kind of twist. Because you can aim with the right joystick where you want to hit the enemies. So you can hit them on the head, on the torso, or on the legs. And some enemies, they will have some armor that will change where the armor is on their body. So you slice their feet, and then they armor their feet, so you slice their head, and then they armor, etc. I think you get the gist. I'm gonna try to put on some footage here to showcase this, but this was a really nice feature. It kept you on your toes, kept you looking at the game. You couldn't just mash button without thinking about it. There's a bunch of combos you can do. The story was fine, but the ending was definitely a letdown. I won't spoil anything, but basically the game just kinda ends. So, with a bunch of questions unanswered. My daughter, she enjoyed it a lot. She was a bitchiko, and she really liked the character. My biggest gripe with Shing was some of the dialogues. Some were unnecessarily full of cussing and innuendos, and it didn't add anything to the characters or the lore of the game. It was kind of off-putting. So, yeah. But anyway, great game, super fun to play, and if you put that on hard, man, it gets really challenging. So, highly recommend Shing. If you can get it like for $1, trust me, you won't be disappointed. The next one I've played is F.I.S.T, which is one of the worst game name I've ever heard, but it's, the acronym F.I.S.T for Forged in Shadow Torch. I've played that on PS Plus, had this on my wishlist for quite some time. It's a 2D side-scroller Metroidvania game where you play as a rabbit. I finished it, obviously, since I'm talking about it, but I did not enjoy it all that much. And the reviews on this game, whether it's from, journalists or the players, are really, really good. People are really enjoying this game. I did not. The combat was very combo heavy. Most of the cool things, most of the cool abilities, you were unlocking them pretty far in the game. It was kind of too challenging, but not for the right reason, at least to my taste. The dialogues, they were cringe. The story was fine, but the dialogues, I did not enjoy it. Um, Not a great game. The first thing, my son was right next to me when I finished the game, and the first thing I did after seeing the end credit was to delete the game from my PS5. So take that for what you will. The next game I've played was Death's Door. On mobile. I've played it on my phone through Netflix games. You know, if you have a Netflix subscription, you can play some games on your phone. And some good games you have, like Hades, Oxenfree, TMNT Shredder's Revenge. There's a bunch of good games you can play. And one of those games is Death's Door. So this game is just fantastic. It looks kind of like Zelda, but there's a lot of Dark Souls DNA in it. Sure, the game is challenging, but it's not about the challenge for me. It was somewhat of a hard game, but it was really not impossible. I got frustrated on a few occasions with the combat, but I felt like the game respected me. The game was letting me discover and understand its mechanics by myself and by showing me, not telling me. There's a bunch of newer games nowadays where you will enter a room and there's I don't know, a statue with a green eye, and you don't even have the time to analyze the room that your sidekick character will tell you, hey, you should shoot an arrow in the eye of the statue to open this secret door. And it's like, oh my god, let me try. And after 10 minutes, okay, let the sidekick give me the answer. But Death's Door was really respecting me. The soundtrack was absolutely outstanding. Music, sound design, I loved the story. And there was so many secrets to find and things to understand by yourself. It was an overall fantastic experience. The best game I've played this year, for sure. The next one I've played was on PS Plus. It's Stanley's Parable. This game, it made me laugh out loud, which is not something I do often in games. But I was laughing out loud. You're kind of an office employee. It's a first-person adventure game, not too far from points and clicks. And then there is this English narrator, English in the sense of, British, and he's telling you kind of what to do. And if you don't do what he's telling you to do, then he's kind of scolding you, and you end up in crazy situation. I'm not gonna spoil it. I'm gonna give you one spoiler that is about the achievements at some point, just to show you a bit of what the game is like. There's an achievement to get. It's just like click 5 times on a door. So you go to the door, click 5 times, and then the narrators be like, well, it's not that satisfying. I don't think you should get an achievement for this. Let's do this instead. Go to this other door and click it 20 times, and you do that. And then he's like, I don't know. I don't feel like giving you an achievement. Just run in circle for 30 seconds, and then you do that. And he's getting excited. Oh, I think you were getting there now. Jump on this desk, you rack it to the ground, and go back to this door and click it 50 times. And it lasts for like 10 minutes of the narrator getting crazier and crazier, and at some point you finally get your achievement. But that's a game you have to experience yourself. It's very hard to explain. Alright, only 2 more to go. The next game I've played was also on PS Plus. It's Anno Mutationem. Alright, so this is a good one. Now I was happy. It's not too far from F.I.S.T. if you think about it, because it's a 2D side-scroller with Metroidvania elements, but now we're talking. The story was super interesting. It's kind of in the future, and you kind of learn about yourself. You learn about why you're having those powers. And there's a bunch of side quests you can do. The characters, they're interesting. There is this, you can buy stuff to refill your health. It's kind of a corn person. I don't know how to say. And at some point, Anne Flores, the main character, is there is this corn dude who's explaining like corn juice is amazing for your health and etc etc, and at some point Anne is like, where do you get the corn juice? You're like a corn man. What is exactly corn juice? And then this running gag that's going on for the full game. I quite enjoyed it. A bunch of costume. The game looks stunning. Combat is fun. The only thing that would prevent me from replaying it over and over like I did, for example, with Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, is that this is a Metroidvania with a lot of story. This is a story-heavy game, which means you get quite a bit of story, then quite a bit of gameplay, then quite a bit of story, and in those types of game, in my action games, I like to play them. I like to push buttons. I enjoyed the story of Anno Mutationem. It was fantastic. I highly recommend the game. It's just, I don't think this is something I will replay again and again, like I did with Bloodstained. The reason I've played Bloodstained so many times was the randomizer, where everything is shuffled out and there's no story anymore, and so you just play the game. Same with Scourgebringer. It's my favorite game. I play it all the time, but it's there is a story, but it's 90% gameplay, so you can replay the game again and again, and you won't get stopped by the story, which is not the case with Anno. So, but oh man, I did enjoy it. That was a good Metroidvania. Took me around 10 hours to get it done. And at the end, the difficulty, it ramps up. Let me tell you, it starts not too bad, but it gets pretty challenging later on. The last game I finished, and I just finished it like a few minutes ago, is Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster, that was re-released on Apple Arcade, and Grubitten just got all the achievements of the game, and she was kind of raving about it to me on Discord. And I thought, you know what, I'm gonna play it, I'm gonna try it. The story is basic, but oh my god, is the pacing good. It never stops, you're always moving forward, and while I was playing it, I was like, man, it feels like a refreshing take on the genre, even though it's a 30 years old game. That's kind of crazy. There was kind of no grinding. I had to grind like for 20 minutes before because I was a bit under leveled before the final boss, but that was pretty much it. I would recommend to use a guide to make it easier to know where to go next, because sometimes it was a bit obscure, but overall, what a good game. Highly recommend it. And we are done. Now go do something else. Go play games. Bye bye.